Alone on a deserted island, one man's fight for survival becomes a journey of the soul. From the depths of despair to the heights of hope, witness an epic tale of adventure and faith. Discover how one man's struggle leads to a profound spiritual awakening. Let's begin. One day I spotted a barrel on the beach, washed up with bits and pieces from my wrecked ship after a wild storm. The gunpowder inside was wet and useless, but I dragged it to my camp anyway. The ship had moved closer to shore, shifted by an earthquake, so I could reach it more easily. I gave up on moving my camp and started pulling stuff from the wreck: wood planks, iron, and timber. I had enough to imagine building a boat, if only I knew how. I went fishing and caught a dolphin, which was a big thrill. Later, I found a turtle and cooked its meat and eggs, a delicious treat. But then I got super sick. Fever burned through me, chills shook my bones, and headaches made my head pound. All alone, I was so scared. For the first time in years, I prayed to God, my heart racing with fear. That night, an awful nightmare hit me. I saw a figure covered in fire, holding a spear, yelling that I was doomed because I hadn't changed my bad ways. I woke up shaking, thinking about all the wrong stuff I'd done, like ignoring my dad and forgetting God. I'd never thanked God for saving me before. Not when I was in Africa, not when I was lost at sea, not even here. Now, feeling like I might die, I knew this was my punishment. I whispered, "Lord, please help me." And it was the first prayer I really meant. June 28th. After some sleep, I felt a little better. The fever was gone for now. But that nightmare still spooked me. I figured the sickness might come back tomorrow, so I got ready. I filled a big bottle with water, mixed in some rum to warm it up, and put it near my bed. I cooked some goat meat over the fire, but I could only nibble a bit. My legs wobbled when I tried to walk, and I felt weak and sad, worried about getting sick again. That night, I roasted 3 turtle eggs and ate them right from the shells. Before I took a bite, I said a quiet prayer to thank God, something I'd never done before. After eating, I wanted to stretch my legs, but I could barely lift my gun. I didn't get far. I plopped down by the sea, watching the calm waves. My mind started wandering. Who made the earth and the sea? Where did I come from? And all the animals, too. I decided it had to be God. If God made everything, He must know I'm stuck here, all alone. Maybe He even meant for me to be here. But why? What did I do wrong? Then a voice in my head snapped back. Wrong. Think about your life. You've messed up so much. Why didn't you drown or get eaten by wild beasts ages ago? And you ask why? I froze, stunned. I couldn't argue. Quietly, I trudged back to my shelter, climbed over the wall, and sat in my chair. It was getting dark, so I lit my lamp. I was terrified the sickness would return. Then I remembered in Brazil, people used tobacco to feel better when they were sick. I had some in a chest, so I went to grab it. Inside, I also found my Bible, which I'd never bothered to open before. I brought both to my table. I didn't know how tobacco worked, but I tried everything. I chewed a leaf, which made my head spin. I soaked some in rum to drink later, and I burned some, breathing in the smoky smell until I coughed. While messing with the tobacco, I flipped open the Bible. The first words I saw were, "Call on me when you're in trouble, and I will save you." It felt like they were written just for me. Could God really get me off this island? It seemed impossible, but those words stuck in my head. It was late and the tobacco made me sleepy. Before bed, I knelt down, something new for me, and prayed, asking God to keep His promise to save me. Then I drank the rum with tobacco in it. It tasted terrible, but I choked it down. My head buzzed as I climbed into bed, and I fell into a deep sleep. When I woke up, the sun was high, probably 3 in the afternoon. I might have slept a whole day and night, because later I noticed I'd lost track of a day on my calendar. Anyway, I woke up feeling way better, stronger, and even hungry. The next day, I didn't get sick again. I was starting to heal, and it felt good. Back home in Europe, we had summer and winter. But on this island, it was all about rainy and dry seasons. When the rains came, they poured down hard, sometimes for weeks. I learned fast that getting soaked made me sick, so I stocked up on food like a squirrel before a storm. During the rainy months, I stayed inside my little cave. keeping busy. I needed baskets to carry stuff, like dirt or food, but the twigs I found snapped like crackers. Then I remembered something awesome. As a kid, I'd watched a basket maker weave twigs into cool shapes. I used to help him, so I knew the trick. I hiked to my second shelter, my country house, and chopped some bendy twigs from a tree. I dried them, then wove them into baskets. They weren't fancy, but they worked. I made big ones too, ready to hold crops later. I had other problems though. I didn't have pots to cook soup or bottles for water, just some old rum barrels and glass jars from the ship. I dreamed of a pot to boil meat and a pipe to smoke tobacco, but I couldn't make them yet. Oh well, I kept busy anyway, planting stakes for my fences during the dry season. One day I got a wild idea. I wanted to see the whole island. I'd already built a shady spot called my bower, where I could peek at the sea on the other side. Now I was ready to cross over. One sunny morning, I grabbed my gun, hatchet, some biscuits, raisins, and extra bullets. With my trusty dog by my side, I set off. Past my bower, I saw the western sea sparkling under the sun. On a super clear day, I spotted land far away, maybe another island or even the mainland. It was too far to reach, maybe 15 or 20 leagues. That's a long boat ride. I wondered if it was near Spanish lands, where scary cannibals might live. Yikes, I decided my island was safer. No cannibals here, just me and my dog. This side of the island was so pretty. Open fields bloomed with flowers and woods buzzed with life. Colorful parrots squawked overhead. I wanted one as a pet. After some sneaky moves, I knocked one down with a stick and took it home. Years later, it learned to say my name. Pretty cool, right? The shore was amazing too, covered with turtles waddling around. On my side, I'd only seen 3 in a year and a half. There were tons of birds too. Some I knew, some I didn't. I could have shot a bunch, but I saved my bullets and hoped to find a goat instead. I walked slowly, exploring every corner, about 2 miles a day. At night, I slept in trees or made a quick fence with stakes to keep wild animals away. But one day I took a new path back and got totally lost. I wandered into a huge valley surrounded by hills and thick woods. Cloudy skies hid the sun for days, so I couldn't tell which way to go. My arms ached from carrying my heavy gear, but I finally found the sea again, spotted my marker pole, and made it home. On that trip, my dog caught a baby goat. I saved it from his jaws and decided to take it home. I made a collar from some rope and led it to my bower, leaving it in a fenced spot. After a month away, I was so happy to flop into my hammock back at my cave. It felt like a cozy castle. I swore I'd never wander that far again. I rested for a week, building a cage for my parrot, Pole, who was getting chatty. Then I checked on the goat kid. It was starving. I fed it some leaves, and soon it followed me like a puppy. It became part of my little island family. On September 30th, I marked 2 years on the island. I was still alone, but I felt thankful. I had food, goats, pigeons, turtles, and grapes, and a safe home. Reading my Bible every day made me feel better. One sad morning I opened it and read, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." It was like God was talking to me. Suddenly, I didn't feel so lonely. I stopped moping and started seeing the good stuff around me. In my 3rd year, I got busy. I prayed and hunted in the mornings, worked on projects at night, and rested when the sun blazed too hot. Everything took forever with no good tools, like 42 days to make one wooden plank. But I kept going. In November and December, I planted barley and rice. Animals nibbled the young plants, so I built a fence around them. Then birds attacked the ripe corn. I shot a few and hung them up like scarecrows. Creepy, but it worked. The birds flew off and I harvested 2 bushels of rice and 2.5 bushels of barley with a sword from the ship. I didn't know how to make bread yet, so I saved it all for planting next time. Thank you for joining this unforgettable journey of survival and self-discovery. Just when you think the climax is reached, a twist unfolds. What hidden challenge or discovery awaits on the horizon? The next chapter is filled with secrets that will make you rethink fate and survival. Don't miss the next video on your end screen. Click now to dive deeper into the island's mysteries. I will see you there. Bye-bye.